Am I on the air?
I just take off the phone here.
Okay. Give me kind of signal when I'm on the air. Just talk to me and tell me I'm on or something.
Is Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Hey, Daniel, are we live? All right. I believe we are. Yes, we are. We are live. Hey, what's up? This is Tony B. I am in Washington, D.C. Right now. I've been here since Sunday. I'm going to sit down and chat with you about what's going on in the communities of Washington, D.C. Ever since I've arrived in town, it's been clear that the military has had a force down here. They said it was the size of larger than Afghanistan, and being down here and witnessing that, I can tell you that is true. The other thing about this that goes on, aside from what's happening at the Capitol and what's impacting everyone around the world because of that insurrection, is that there's a community here. And that community has kind of been held hostage by this situation. And right now I'm just sharing with you, again, what I've experienced since I've been down here. Immediately coming down, the freeways were blocked, so you couldn't even take an exit off into certain communities and certain neighborhoods. And along with that, once you did get into the communities and the neighborhoods, there was a police presence, streets were blocked off. At the end of the day, you have people who live in this community who were not able to get to and from work. Public transportation has been decreased. So again, the impact on the communities is what we're looking at. Tomorrow, we are going to go to the inauguration, and we're going to tell you and give you an inside perspective on what's going on there. Yesterday, I went to Howard University, which there's no one on the campus, and however, there was security, and they have concerns about the potential of some lone wolf who might do something at the school. So there was protection there, and the streets were blocked off. But tonight, I wanted to bring you to Carolina's Kitchen. If you are, there it is right behind me. And as you can see, they are open. However, they are doing takeout only. I, however, have the opportunity to go outside and go inside and get something to eat. And I'm going to take you inside with me and show you this beautiful facility. Again, they serve amazing soul food and lots of different type of cuisine. I've already, to be honest with you, I've already started eating. I just couldn't resist. And then I'm going to have to go back in here and we'll do this. And then I'm going to finish my delicious meal. But I'll tell you what, before we get started, I'm going to have you come in with me and we will enter in directly. I'm going to show you a little bit of this particular community that I'm in right now. And I'll just kind of do a 360 for you so that you can see where I am. Again, this is Tony B. live from Washington, D.C. And what I want to do is talk to you about what's happening with the communities down here, in addition to the insurrection on January 6th. And don't forget all the unrest that took place down here over the summer. They're still dealing with the pandemic down here. And so all of these things have combined to make the situation really difficult for our communities here, our Black communities and our global majority communities. And so in addition to taking you to the inauguration, we're going to take you into the communities and find out how people are doing. One of the things, though, is I wanted to take you to this Black-owned restaurant, this again called Carolina's, and show you what they've got going on in here and support our community. So I'll have you come in with me. All right, how you doing, sir? Thank you. I'm gonna come back and take care of you when I do this, okay? There's some that right there. My man, how are you doing? Thank you. Okay. We'll be back to take care of you in a minute, all right? I appreciate you helping me out. Rainier Avenue Radio right here, and here we are. Again, you can see what's going on here. Coming inside of Carolinas. See the landscape here. Beautiful facility. Now, again, as you can see, there are no seats because no one can eat in here. That is a result of the pandemic, and so businesses are suffering. down here in DC. So normally during an event like this, a place like this would be packed with customers and business would be flourishing. But as you can see, no one's here. All major facilities. And again, we're at Carolina Kitchen Bar and Grill. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the facility here that I've had a chance to look at and sit down and we'll talk again. Who's the manager here? But check this out. It's amazing. Beautiful facility. Again, this is Tony B with Rainier Radio Bar, Washington D.C. And this is Carolina Kitchen. So the way food is being served right now is pickup, and you can see the precautions that are here in place to ensure that they comply with COVID safety rules. And you know, everybody's adjusting to, I guess you want to call it the new normal of being down here. And the food is absolutely phenomenal, incredible. I'll tell you that. Again, down here in Washington. See, I'm gonna show you the menu. Oh, the menu's not up here, but I'll get my hands on them if I can. I'll get you a menu so that we can let you know what's being served here. So now, this is what it's looking like from the front. Again, no customers here right now, but still pretty good business tonight. You know, again, on an event, on something when the inauguration is in town, this place would be packed. That's not the case right now. Well, I'm going to sit down, make myself comfortable. Thanks for your patience while I work my way through this process. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to take care of something real quick. I got a friend out here who was helping me with logistics. And before I go sit down, I want to take care of him. I had to get on the air first. Now I'll come back out. All right. Thank you, sir, for your time. Oh, appreciate you. All right. Please go help you out. Okay. Back inside now. And I'm coming. Again, there's more over here, but all of this is closed. So, again, this area is all closed. And, okay, now I'm going to be able to take my mask off. So, again, coming to you from Carolina Kitchen Bar and Grill right here in Washington, D.C. They own 4 restaurants, actually. There are 4 restaurants associated here. They're Black-owned. And this one is right in Washington, D.C. proper, I guess. In the community, in the bar area, which again, there's no one here now because of, again, in addition to all the other things that are going on, there's the pandemic that is taking place. So there is no one in the bar. Ordinarily, this would be bustling with people and business would be good and good times would be rolling in. But pandemic says no to that. And on top of it now, again, you're dealing with the insurrection that took place January 6th at the Capitol. And in particular for Black businesses, it's put them on alert with the right-wing extremist groups. So these would be considered soft targets. And so there is precaution here, but folks are hopeful and still in a good mood, but at the same time, different environment. There is an edge right now that people have. So I'm going to sit down and this is where I'm sitting, and I'll show you what I'm eating. I have the seared jerk salmon and collard greens and mac and cheese. Oh yeah, that's kind of it right there. And see, I'll give you kind of a shot of where I'm at here. Also, and I've also got apple cobbler and then to go just because I'm gonna have to eat later or tomorrow to get the jerk fried lobster tail. Go with me. I'll get some ribs and then black-eyed peas and probably some more collard greens because they're delicious. You know what? But I gotta go somewhere anyway. I'll, I'll deal with that. Jacket off. Okay. Yeah, this is Tony B coming to you live from Washington D.C. Carolina Kitchen. Elaine, the manager, is going to come over and have a conversation with me in a little bit, and we'll talk about how this particular business has been impacted by COVID-19, by the events that took place on January 6th, and just again, if you remember, all of the things that were taking place here over the summer have impacted these communities. And Elena is here with me now, and we're going to have a conversation. Elena, first of all, thank you for taking the time to come down here with me and share with our audiences from Seattle and all over the Pacific Northwest. I'll tell you a little about who we are. We're a community radio station, and we broadcast in the interest of our community. In particular, because our communities are Black and brown people, we found during the beginning of this coronavirus, no one was paying attention to our needs. As a result of that, we made sure that we had our voices heard and amplified so that we could get the attention that we needed for our community. And so being down here, I wanted to make sure I got into the community, and people told me, go check at Carolina Kitchen.
Yes, sir. Get excited.
And so I'm going to put the camera on you now and just ask you, welcome, Elena.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
So we did do a little bit of pre-advertising. I know I just contacted you yesterday. Thank you for welcoming me down here. I got to show folks around outside a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So why don't we start with some background information and history on Carolina Kitchen Barn?
Yes, sir. So we originally started in Silver Spring, 1996. Yeah, 1996. That was our first location there. And then moved to Largo, which is a very popular place. Everybody goes there, very busy there all the time. I started here about 6 years ago. We started at this location, DC location. We have one in Largo as well. It's Black owned. We have did a lot of different stuff, a lot of different like in the community and stuff like that. Like every year, so on Thanksgiving, we do a big like all the home people have a big show. I'm surprised I never. You ever heard about it?
I've not heard about it,
Yeah,
but I want to hear more about it.
Yeah, so every year we just get different types of shelters and stuff like that. They come here and we just feed them. It's so busy, so packed. We have entertainment, DJs, live guests, and everything. So we pretty much do a lot. We do a lot of stuff to, just like you all, we try to get back to our community as much as we can, because if we don't help each other, I don't know who will. So basically, during the pandemic, if we did have to close down for a couple of days just to clean. So being though that we have a to-go line, we wasn't able to close down completely. Thank God, are here today through this whole year have been, trying to fight this pandemic, and we came out good, strong. It's only I just became a manager probably 2 years ago, but I have been in this business for about 7 years, so it just really opened my eyes, just fight through it. We got to get through it, and as much as we can, we always people come in, we welcome them, we thank them so much for their business and everything, because it's really hard out here, especially during this pandemic, to get people to come out because they're so scared about all the germs and everything like that. But here we clean, sanitize weekly, try to keep our guests, our employees healthy and stuff like that. So we have been very blessed, very good through this whole pandemic, and I just thank God that we are still here. We're going to fight it out to the end, tooth and nail. And that's about it.
Were you able to keep most of your employees? Did you have to lay folks off?
So pretty much our dining, that's what we had to let go some of our guests, some of our employees, and they still come here. We try to fit them in anywhere we can, but that's the only thing that we had to lock in was our dining, and just can't wait to open back up because we are changed a lot of stuff, so we're going to be much more better. But now we're about to make our whole new menu and get our website back up. So now we're just it's like relaunching a whole new business all over again. That's how I feel. We're just going to do a whole 360 on this whole establishment.
Again, this is Tony B. I am here live in Washington, D.C. at Carolina Kitchen. I'm at the D.C. location.
Yes,
right?
sir. Right on the road.
Rhode Island Road. And there are 4 different locations. I'm talking with Elaine, the manager here. You heard her discuss a little bit about how the pandemic has impacted. You hear the spirit, you know, of we can get this done. We're going to make this happen. And tell me, Elena, what was your initial thought when this first happened, when everything shut down in your role here as manager? What was going through your mind?
I was kind of scared, you know, but I just like try to tell my employees that, you know, we're going to get through this. You know, if anybody like needs somebody to talk to about, you know, coming to work, because a lot of my employees were scared to come back to work because we're so close in contact. So, you know, most of us, like most of the management got tested for COVID, you know, so that was good. So our employees be up to the discretion if they want to do it, because we're not going to force them to do anything they want to do. But if they had any symptoms or something like that, then we will tell them to stay home, quarantine, stuff like that, just so to be safe for everybody else. But I just like try to like keep up on like, you know, the details about everything that's going on in the world and other restaurants, and just communicated with a lot of other restaurants pertaining to what their, you know, guidelines was and stuff like that. So just be informed. My main thing during the pandemic was being informed, knowing everything, and going forth with that. But that's about it. I mean, I'm glad that we stayed open through this, because I was scared that we were going to close down too, because we do dining in, and there was a lot of stuff going on about closing restaurants, period. But since we have a carry-out line, that's what's only helping us, getting us through everything.
Wow. So that was a business decision that was made, not thinking about the pandemic, that ended up kind of being a lifeline for you.
Yep. Our carry-out had always been our lifeline. A little bit, you know, like we get our dining always pop, but our carry-out was the main thing, because they could see food and they get food fast. You know, everybody wants to get in and get out, so that was it. That line really helped us a lot.
You know, I had the opportunity to give folks a kind of inside view. It's a beautiful facility that you have here. And if you want to talk about the decor a little bit and what you've got going on here, just physically, and I showed the bar over there.
Yes, sir. So Lance London is the owner of the establishment. He designed everything on this location with the blueprint, everything. He bought all these antique stuff you've seen. Like, if you go over there, like over, you know, on the other side, if you want to go on the other side, we have a lot of antique stuff over here that he has bought from different states and people and stuff. So he's very creative in what he do. He designed everything in here, everything. So he's very creative in what he do. You know, that's pretty much. He just tried to do like an urban type of look in here, like, you know, old fashioned, but, you know, up to date. So that's probably it. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the menu. And we got to talk about the menu. And tell us what you have here, what you offer, and what you specialize.
Okay, so we specialize in soul food cuisine. So everything we do is like Big Mama House. So our specialties mainly are our sides. Our customers come in here for our mac and cheese, collard greens, black eyed peas. They love coming here for our Thanksgiving type of feel. So that's what we basically specialize in, soul food. Like, so you're going to Mama House and you know you come to Carolina Kitchen. That's about it.
Well, tell us what's on it, because it's delicious. I have the pan-seared jerk salmon, which I didn't know I could have before I came here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it is delicious, and I'm going to get the lobster to go, and some other things to go. And once I saw everything that was available here, who did the menu, and tell us more items on the menu, because I can tell you, we don't have this in Seattle. What y'all have here, we might have to set up some sort of delivery service.
Yes, right. Go right to you. So basically, most of our mom pearl specialties comes from Lance London's grandmother. So most of these recipes are from her.
What? Wait a minute.
Yep.
From his grandma.
Yep. Straight from out of the book. He wrote it. He gave us the book. We wrote it down. We copied it, and that's how we followed that all the way through. Every teaspoon, the cup, to quarters, that we follow every recipe, and it comes out very, very good. Like,
okay. Yep, let me. So you guys heard me mention 4 restaurants in the D.C. area, Black-owned business, started out from grandma's private cookbook.
Yes, that's true. Yes, we just took the book and we made a whole lot of good things out of it. That's all I can say. We made good things out of that cookbook, and you know, a lot of Black families does that. Like my family and stuff, we have a book that we look at to get like little like potato pie and stuff like that, little like antiques. So he just made that into a business. Very creative. He made his grandma's book into a whole restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we have been talking, and I'm enjoying the meal here, and we're having wonderful conversation. Again, acknowledging that there are folks out there who are not as fortunate.
Yes.
We know what's taking place in Seattle, and I can tell you that we had to work hard to make sure that our community's voices were heard.
Yes, sir.
They wouldn't give us information on what was happening in our community. We had people on the air saying that they were COVID-19 positive before they were even telling us it was in our community.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And again, can you just talk a little bit about what it's like to be down here in DC and how the pandemic is affecting your communities? Because we get the national, you know, but if you get the national on Seattle, you might have heard about CHOP or the Chaz when they took over there. And we called that autonomous area for a few weeks. There was a whole lot of other things going on in the city nationally that nobody paid attention to, that we tried to bring light to. So if you wouldn't mind, Elaine, just telling us what the vibe has been in here about the pandemic and how it's impacted communities here and people's jobs and people's attitudes and the healthcare, obviously, too.
Yes, sir. So like I have been looking up a different type of stuff, like far as like the shelters that are here. So the shelters have put out a lot of people. Like if you go down like by New York Avenue Union Station, it's a whole ton of tents, carts, pallets, because people have been getting put out of shelters. So mainly it has affected, like I know a couple people that works for, like a lot of people work from home now. So it's kind of a hassle with that. A lot of people complain about like their kids not be able to eat and stuff like that. So if we have families that come in here that has a lot of kids, we will feed them because, you know, they rely on kids, you know, kids going to school eat. So we do a lot of that. We also do like, so far as healthcare providers, we have like contracts with different types of hospitals that we give food, you know, give food to the nurses that work day and night, stuff like that. We get a lot of nurses that come here to work. I know. Yeah, so we have a lot of contracts with different types of nursing homes as well that, you know, give food to the elderly and to the nurses there. So we try to do whatever we can, even though we're open and we're fighting tooth and nail to be here to help out, because when you give, you receive tremendously. So we try to do that a whole lot. As far as like I mentioned about the inauguration and stuff like that, a lot of stuff has closed down as far as trains, you know, like public transportation and stuff. But
you know what? I'm gonna talk about that in a second, because I want to remind folks of what you just said. I did not contact Carolina Kitchen because I knew all of the amazing things that they were doing in the community.
Yes, sir.
And so to hear all of that, you know, again, just shows the spirit of the way Black folks can pull together and support each other in a crisis when you know that you have to do that. And all of the wonderful things. And Elaine, congratulations to y'all for what you're doing. That is amazing. That's an added extra bonus to share with our listeners.
Yes, sir.
And I do want to talk about the impact of the inauguration. And again, not just that, but the social unrest that took place here as well over the summer was over the news. And we saw people getting tear gassed and rubber bullets shot at them. And then, you know, January 6th, the insurrection at the Capitol, where we're in the position that we're in now. And as I got on the freeway trying to get to my hotel, I couldn't even take exits to get off of them. And then as I was talking to people, I was talking to folks who who said they were telling me public transportation was shut down, and they were trying to figure out how to get to work. And it seemed as though this was again affecting Black people, and these weren't things that we were hearing about. And so this inauguration with everybody in town, I'm figuring ordinarily you'd probably be bustling, you know, with business, but that's not happening now. So just whatever you want to share in that regard about how the Black Lives Matter movement, the everything that took place that is now Black Lives Matter Square, and the social unrest, and then of course January 6th, where Trump supporters and white right-wing extremists took over the Capitol. And now you were here, and how you feel about your safety and everything that's going on right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Black Lives Matter movement. Since that happened, that like it affected everybody that color, because of what we like. My opinion is that we finally see what they have been trying to hide. So I mean, it's always been there. It has always been there. Like race has always been like racism has always been there, but we finally have seen it for our own eyes, and like it makes me like unease. It's like a good word I can say, but since that happened, we have gotten a lot more business because they want to help Black, like buy Black. That's how I put it. I'm not saying that it was within what has happened, but it has made Black people support Black people more. I've seen like we have coming together as far as that being financially together. I just want us to start becoming more mentally together, you know. And as far as like January 6th, that it wasn't surprising to me. Not really. It really wasn't, and that's bad. That's sad to say. I just didn't think it would be like that aggressive in that term of and the like seeing like, they actually welcomed them into the Capitol instead of trying to stop them from coming out. But that's just my opinion. I'm not really into like the politics. I'm just saying what the news is showing up. And sometimes the news tries to sugarcoat stuff that is happening, but there's no sugarcoating when when you see it right in your face. But yeah, that's it. As far as my like safety, as far as the employees and stuff like that, I mean, I just tell them to like people that just watch your surroundings, because they can come anywhere. Just because we're in this type of location, don't mean they can't travel here. So January 6th, we actually closed. We closed early that day. Closed very early that day, just because we just didn't want to be open at all. So, but after that, the day after we opened up, nothing really happened extreme here. Like not a lot of. It's violence around, but not like right here. So we're blessed to be at this right here where we are, but we haven't been like really affected in that term. I pray to God that we never will, because only God knows. So that's about it.
Elaine, describe this particular community that this particular business is situated.
This community is like it's a mixture. It's a mixture of all races. We have a lot of people of color that come here. We have a lot of people that African American, Americans, whites. We have a lot of Indians that come here. So it's a mixture of what we have. Like we don't discriminate. We don't see color. That's not. I wasn't born like that. I don't teach my employees to see that. Everybody has their own opinion, but when you're in an establishment, you're in a business. You can't. It's not. It's no need to see color. You only see a person's personality, what they portray themselves to be in front of you. So that's all I teach. Like in this type of world.
And they're coming in here to get some good food.
Yes, they are. Yep, that's all we do. Serve food, be polite, and we want to go about your day. You don't need all that friction, all that negativity. It's to feed your stomach. That's it.
Speaking of which, I have to get back to my plate here, which I can't wait to. I did start nibbling on it. I couldn't help myself. I had to say, "Oh, it smells good." It came in. I was going to wait till after, but no, I had to get my food. So I'm going to get back to that. But before we go, Elena, I want to give you an opportunity to say something to our people out there. Again, we not only have people watching us now from Seattle, but watching us from around the region, around the country, and around the world, because we talk to the people in the communities that we go to and that we visit. So anything that you want to share to anybody, whether it be about Washington, D.C. or just in general, about what we're going through right now and how we move forward. I want to give you a couple minutes to say that. Again, this is Elena, the manager here at Carolina Kitchen, right here in Washington, D.C., Carolina Kitchen Bar and Grill.
Yes, sir. So all I just want to say is, as far as, this being a nation's capital, this place is a tourist place. Everybody from all around the world wants to go to D.C. to see the monument, the Capitol, and everything like that. It's a beautiful place to be. We try to be the most pleasant. We don't have a lot of like negative stuff going on, rather than just this the first time I ever seen a lot of negative stuff happening in a long time, and I'm only 25. I'm just started. So I just want to say, I want to speak on mainly about where I work at the establishment that I work for. I don't really want to get into the negative part. I want to go to the positive part, because there's so much negative stuff around in the world. You don't want to think about that all the time. You want to think about the positivity, especially during this time. So, if you ever in DC, you want to come to a good place to get mama's good cooking, come to Carolina Kitchen. We're coming, welcome you with open arms here. Nothing but positive vibes, good food, good music, laugh, cry if you need to. We just want to make it through this. Hopefully this pandemic won't be here for a long time. We're just going to fight through this. Stay healthy, stay blessed. Thank you.
All right. I think, Elena, if you don't mind, I'm going to go out there again and do a quick run through out there and show folks the play. Then I'm going to come back here and thank you for joining me. Again, this is Tony B here, and you know what? I see we're actually overtime. I went too long. So go back to the beginning of the tape and you can see the tour that I gave everyone of the facility here. You'll see the artifacts that Elena was talking about. Okay, Mr. Bellis, I went a little bit overtime, but valuable information from Elena. We will be live with you tomorrow. Again, from the inauguration and from different locations in the community with breaking news. So make sure and tune in. Tony B live from Carolina Kitchen in Washington, D.C. And I'm about to get my grub on. That's it. That's all the time that I have. That's going to do it for the kid. We will see you again tomorrow, live from D.C., Rainier Avenue Radio. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are probably right. I'm out. Peace.